So gather in close by the fire and let me set the scene for you. It was I was on a night out in Edinburgh, slightly worse for wear, and I was on my way back home. And it may be hard to imagine right now, but it was very cold and very dark and very wet, as it usually is in Edinburgh, I have to say. And an old guy seemed to recognise me because he greeted me from halfway across the street. And I think for as long as I live, I shall remember his opening words to me. He said, "Are you that guy from that band?" And I said, I am in a band. Yes, yeah, why not? And then he said, you're no bad, son. Now, if you're not from Scotland, I should explain that's a very high compliment. That's approval. So I said thank you and turned to leave. But some people are kind of, especially when they've been drinking, and especially in Scotland, there's a very fine line between friendly and aggressive. And this guy was doing a little tightrope walk along that particular line because he grabbed me by the lapels of my jacket. That was the friendly part. And he looked me slightly tearfully in the eye, and I got the smell of pretty good whiskey off him, actually. And he said, "Why are you guys famous Fossai?" And I said, "Thank you," because I didn't actually know what he was talking about. But he repeated it a few times, and eventually I understood what he was asking. I didn't know why he was asking it, but I understood what. He was actually saying, "Why do you guys never play any Russian folk songs?" Well, that was a first. We've never had that complaint before. You know, we're often well received playing in the streets, but from time to time you get a complaint about volume or maybe blocking up the street, things like that, playing too late at night. But that's the first time I think we've had a complaint about our lack of Russian folk music. And of course, you're gathered there all so politely, sitting there quietly. You're listening to this music, you're here, it's a sunny day, you're in Edinburgh, we've got an Italian drummer, an Italian guitarist, and the token Scottish guy in the middle playing bagpipes. And you're sitting there going, when are they going to play Russian folk music? That's why we're all here. Is that right? Do you want to hear Russian folk music?
Aye.
A few slightly confused yeses. Well, we were confused as well, but we thought since the guy had asked so nicely, or so enthusiastically, we should go and do a little bit of research. And it turns out there is actually a Russian folk song that's quite well known over here. It was made famous in the Western world back in, I think it was the 1980s, because there was a video game developed that was massively popular. It would be, you would say that it went viral if it happened at this day and age, but it was in the 1980s. And it was developed by a man from Russia, and so when it came to coming up with a theme tune for the game, he realised that just borrowing one of his country's folk songs made sense. So that's why we knew it. So two kinds of people will know this song, two slightly different demographics. People who, like the three of us, were fans of the Nintendo Game Boy, you'll probably know it, and people who are fans of Russian folk music. Now, if anyone happens to be in that little intersection on the Venn diagram, and you're very, very well versed in Russian folk music, and also love the Nintendo Game Boy, then we have a real treat for you, providing you don't mind bagpipes. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Korobushka, or maybe Korobeniki, we've been told slightly different pronunciations by different Russian speakers. Anyway, we knew it as the theme tune from Tetris, especially on the Game Boy, getting faster and faster until we could continue no longer, and it may be stating the obvious, but that's one of the more exhausting tracks we play. So I think, if you don't mind, we're just going to play some nice, smooth, mellow jazz for the next 4 hours. I hope that suits everyone. Welcome to anyone who's just joined us. You may be wondering on this fine summer's day, well, spring day, but this may be summer, this may be the whole summer, I'm not sure what's going on here in the square. We're the Spinning Blowfish. We're a band of buskers playing some music right here in the square, some light entertainment for you on a Sunday and a sunny afternoon as well. You're very much invited to just stick around and have a wee listen, be comfortable, be seated, or even join in and have a dance. We're always genuinely happy to see that. We're always going to encourage it. We're very grateful for any kind of donations. We are a busking band, so that all helps the live music keep going. We also have CDs available for £5. If you'd like to hear some of our music back home, you can get one directly from the case, or speak to our drummer at moments like this when he's not too busy on the drum kit. Still more music to come, so if you want to stick around and have a listen, please feel very welcome. Thanks, folks.